Marcel Irnie Racing News, doing a story on the Facebook files, the Biden administration censoring the big platforms, anyone they can get their hands on to censor, even censoring down to memes about COVID, or COVIDism as we call it now. Chairman Jordan subpoenas the GARM and WFA for documents and the communication. So the GARM is the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, and the WFA is the World Federation of Advertisers. So today, the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan subpoenaed top officials from the GARM and the World Fed advertisers for documents and communications related to their coordinated efforts to demonetize and censor disfavored speech online. Exactly what happened to Irnieracing and Marcel Irnie YouTube channels, guys. Demonetize and censor defavored speech online. The truth. The GARM and the WFA appear to facilitate collusion among their members in a manner that may violate U.S. antitrust law. To advance the committee's oversight and inform potential legislation related to these collusive practices, the committee must understand whether, how, and to what extent the GARM and WFA facilitate collusion to prevent certain content from benefiting from advertising dollars and to reduce the content's presence online. So a lot of this Facebook files are being released by Jim Jordan. And so here's the thing on the Daily Wire. Again, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan from Republic of Ohio released internal meta documents on Thursday that he said were evidence of the White House improperly pressuring Facebook and Instagram into censoring posts. The congressman said in a thread posted to X Twitter that he was unveiling part 1 of the Facebook files, which appear to be a nod to the Twitter files, obtained by his panel only after he threatened to move forward with holding Meta's CEO Mark Zuckerberg in contempt of Congress. Jordan said that plan is being placed on hold unless the big tech giants stop cooperating with his investigation. So he's like, give me the documents or we're moving forward on you guys. Jordan's thread, which he said involved smoking gun documents that prove Facebook censored Americans because of Biden White House pressure, contains some screenshots of the documents, but not the full correspondence. Never before released internal documents subpoenaed by the Judiciary Committee prove that Facebook and Instagram censored posts and changed their content moderation policies because of unconstitutional pressure from the Biden White House, Jordan began. During the first half of 2021, social media companies like Facebook faced tremendous pressure from the Biden White House, both publicly and privately, to crack down on alleged misinformation, Jordan said. In April of 21, a Facebook employee circulated an email for Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and COO Sheryl Sandberg, writing, "We are facing continued pressure from external stakeholders, including the Biden White House, to remove posts," Jordan said. In another April 2021 email, Nick Clegg, Facebook's president for global affairs, informed his team at Facebook that Andy Slavitt, a senior advisor to President Biden, was outraged that Facebook did not remove a particular post, Jordan said. "What did the Biden House want removed? A meme," Jordan said, posting a screenshot of a meme concerning COVID vaccines. That's right, even memes weren't spared from the Biden White House censorship efforts. And we can actually go look directly at these posts here, right over to Twitter, where I've been earlier, and we're loading up here on the Wi-Fi. And here you have him talking about Nick Clegg's, dealing with Andy Slavitt, the senior advisor, who is outraged. And so I'm going to quote the thing as we go through from the Meta 118 HGC file, it's 5333232. For members and staff only, not for distribution. Just got off an hour-long call with Andy Slavitt. There are some pretty serious and sensitive, see last point, issues we need to address. A summary. He was apprehensive of the data we sent through on Friday and confirmed that Rob F. had said that we had never received so much data from us before. But, and here we have the main point, Andy attended a meeting of misinfo researchers, didn't provide names, organized by Rob F. on Friday, in which the consensus was that Facebook is a disinformation factory and that YouTube has made significant advances to remove content leading to vaccine hesitancy while we have lagged behind. Bam! Bam! That is just right onto my Marcel Irnie YouTube channel, IrnieracingNews. How my channel was demoted by a percentage factor of over 95%, I would estimate. While it's apprehensive of our emphasis on authoritative vaccine, the principal focus for Andy and his team is coming weeks in which the hardest to reach people who have propensity to consume vaccine hesitant related content and who are not swayed by official authoritative source of content. Our system, he believes, as confirmed by the researchers, feed vaccine hesitant related content to pockets of the population, and that's the problem he wants to help to resolve. Here's a highlighted section. Next point. As an EG, he was outraged, not too strong a word to describe his reaction, that we did not remove this post, which was third most highly ranked post in the data we sent to him. So back to the main point. What did the Biden house want removed? A meme. And here's the meme, guys. Unbelievable. Let's share this meme. Let's take a screenshot. Okay, I screenshotted for sharing on this page. 10 years from now, you will be watching TV and hear, did you or a loved one take the COVID vaccine? You may be entitled. And then that's produced for the file number. That's a meme censoring. Way crazy. So when Clegg from Facebook countered that removing content like that would represent a significant incursion into traditional boundaries of free expression in the U.S., Slavitt, from the Biden, disregarded the warning and the First Amendment. So here's a link to the post. I countered that removing content like that would represent a significant incursion in traditional boundaries of free expression in the U.S., but he replied that the post was directly comparing COVID vaccines to asbestos poisoning in a way which demonstrably inhibits confidence in COVID vaccines amongst the Biden administration is trying to reach. It would be very helpful if someone could please check whether this content was also available on YouTube. Andy's assumption is that YouTube would never accept something like this. Yeah, YouTube was one. Google was it, and Twitter. They were like leading the way in censorship, dude. Guys, that's why my channel is shadow banned at like a high 90+%.
Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith. Jim Jordan, let me start with you. I smell a rat here, and I suspect the judge did as well. So we're to believe that this critically important point, that this deal would ensure there'd be no further prosecution for Hunter Biden. Somehow they had a misunderstanding with respect to Joe Biden. Now, Congressman Jordan, your investigation in the Judiciary Committee is running in tandem with Congressman Comer's investigation into the Biden family businesses, and that is the weaponization and how the FBI has been politicized, weaponized, the DOJ has been politicized, weaponized. They didn't even want to hear from the whistleblowers, and they're willing to make that sweetheart deal.
Oh, sorry, guys. That was off topic there. Didn't mean to have that video. But again, the politicization, the weaponization of the FBI, the DOJ, the weaponization of information control with the Facebook files and the Twitter files and the soon, hopefully, the Google, YouTube files will have my name, Marcel Irnie, on the list there. So back to one of the earlier ones posted by Jim from Mark Sherrill. We are seeking your guidance on whether to take more aggressive action against certain vaccine discouraging content. We are facing continued pressure from external stakeholders, including the White House and the press, to remove more COVID-19 vaccine discouraging content. For example, we recently shared with the White House a list of the top 100 vaccine-related posts on Facebook in the U.S. and for the week of 4/5 and 4/11. While authoritative information dominated the list, the White House was concerned that the post number 3 was a vaccine discouraging humor meme, and they called us to delete the meme. That's the meme we looked at earlier. The meme. Did you or a loved one take the COVID vaccine? You may be entitled. So obviously we looked at that link before, the one right there, about removing that meme. When they countered removing the meme, it would add significant incursion into traditional boundaries of free expression in the U.S. Slavitt disregarded the warning in the First Amendment. Oh, we looked at that one. What happened next? Facebook panicked. In April of 2021, Brian Rice and Facebook's VP of Public Policy raised the concern that Slavitt's challenge felt very much like a crossroads for us with the Biden White House in the early days. So, Facebook now under the pressure. wanted to repair its relationship with the White House to avoid adverse action because they know they could come at them in other ways. Given what is at stake, it would be a good idea if we could regroup and take stock of where we are in relations with the White House and the internal methods too. Boom. That's right from the documents. Now, this wasn't the first time that the Biden White House was angry with that Facebook didn't censor more. According to these documents, the Biden White House demanded to know why Facebook had not censored a video from Tucker Carlson, so Facebook prepped its response. As we discussed previously, Facebook was ready to tell the White House that it had demoted a video posted by Tucker Carlson by 50% in response to the White House demands, even though the post didn't violate any policies. There you have it. Thanks, Nick. Here are some talking points. How was it the Tucker Carlson post not violative, right? So we looked at this. The video is receiving a 50% demotion for 7 days. Demotion, guys. Demotion. That is shadow banning. And then the public pressure was in the public as well. Facebook admitted it was going to change its policies because of pressure from the White House. August 2nd, Facebook's leadership asked Misinfo Policies to brainstorm some additional policy levers we can pull to be more aggressive against misinformation. This is stemming from the continued criticism of our approach from the Biden administration. But it wasn't just the White House. Facebook also changed its policies in direct response to pressure from Biden's Surgeon General censoring members of Disinformation Dozen. This email provides a follow-up to our August 6th discussion regarding our response to the Surgeon General on COVID-19 information. During that discussion, we agreed to further explore 4 discrete policy options for reducing the prevalence of COVID-19 misinformation on our platforms. Since then, teams have scoped the requirements for executing those options. As discussed further below, we plan to roll out the first 3 options over the next coming weeks, and we'll roll out the 4th option as the escalation-only policy. Please let us know if you have any concerns with the following plan by 9 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time. Otherwise, we plan to provide an update to Surgeon General and start executing against these tomorrow. Thank you. Option 1. Designate any assets linked to groups, pages, profiles, accounts which have been removed for COVID misinfo violations as non-recommendable to users. So de-recommend everything. It won't be recommended to people, in their algorithm. Impact. Any asset linked to groups, pages, profiles, accounts that have been removed for COVID misinfo violations would not be recommended to users. Example, RFK Jr.'s Instagram account is removed, so his Facebook page will be non-recommendable. B, status. So that's A is the impact, B is the status. By the end of this week, we will enforce on approximately 60 linked assets related to the Disinfo Dozen that have been removed for COVID misinfo violations. Over the next 3 weeks, we will engage in further work to understand how to mitigate the risk of over-enforcement here. We will then return with a further recommendation on a broader policy change that will affect more than just the 60 Disinfo Dozen linked assets. So there's option 1, impact and status. Option 2, count COVID misinformation and harm, M&H, vaccine widely debunked hoaxes, WDH, and COVID repeated fact-checked hoaxes, RFH, toward misinformation repeated offend status. Number 1, the impact will be currently only 3 PFC, which was, what the hell was PFC? I don't know. Rated false altered content counts toward misinfo repeat offender status, which results in demotions and demonetization for entities counting COVID M&H. So the M&H was misinformation and harm. Vaccine, WDH again, and COVID RFH. Strikes towards misinfo repeat offender status would be more quickly penalized in entities spreading COVID or vaccine misinfo on top of our normal community standards penalties. Wow. B, status. We are targeting the end of September for launch. This includes updating language on existing transparency surfaces to notify affected entities how content we remove for COVID vaccine violations factor into the repeat offender status. So that's reading that, guys. And so I actually lost my Facebook. It was suspended, and there was no option for you can dispute it, and nobody reply, and there's no reply to your dispute. Like, they made a dispute and it just goes nowhere. And so they suspended my channel permanently on Facebook because I started sharing things when the mandates were announced during the Canadian election, and in September of September of 2020, it feels like. That first summer, the March, and then the summer rolled around, and then the mandates were announced, and I started researching. I stopped dirt biking and started researching, and in September I started sharing everything to try to make the election go for the PPC and to save us all in Canada anyways, and share it for everybody. And that's when family members and friends who didn't want to pay attention then ignored and blocked me, and then other people I gave information to, the 5 or 10% that were willing to listen at that time, because most people were not willing to listen, have an open mind. And then in the beginning of December, my channel was completely suspended. Boom, gone. No warning, gone. So these documents and others that were just produced to the committee prove that the Biden admin abused his power to coerce Facebook into censoring Americans, preventing free and open discourse on issues of critical public importance. Only after the committee announced its intention to hold Mark Zuckerberg in any contempt did Facebook produce any internal documents to the committee, including these documents, which prove that the government pressure was directly responsible for censorship on Facebook. Based on Facebook's newfound commitment to fully cooperate with the committee's investigation, the committee has decided to hold contempt and abeyance for now. To be clear, contempt is still on the table and will be used if Facebook fails to cooperate in full. To be continued, guys. So that's part 1, guys. Part 1 of the Facebook files. Thanks to Jim Jordan. This is Irnieracing News, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think is going on.